Good morning, and welcome to the Financial Optimist. And today, I want to talk about how your car is keeping you poor. If you want to know why you're living paycheck to paycheck, the answer is sitting in your driveway. So when it comes to the price of a car, we have to ask ourselves, okay, how much does a car cost? Well, in this news article, it shows we're more than $47,000 for the price of an average new car. So people are dropping $50K on a car. Ask yourself, what does the car do to you? It drives you to work and gets you back home, takes you to the grocery store, does a few trips. So if transportation is just, one of those basic necessities, why does it cost so much for it? I mean, you look at, many other countries in the world, many people don't even have cars. Here in the United States, we do. That's largely because our infrastructure doesn't really have public transit, so we do have to have a car. But with that said, if we consider this a basic necessity, why do we pay such an absurdly high price for it? So, is there another way to save money on cars? Well, the answer is absolutely yes, there is. And first, I'm going to start off by looking at this auto loan calculator right here. So let's say you got a brand new car at $50,000. You might think, oh, it only costs $50,000. Well, once you add in all the other costs here, you realize it actually costs you more like $67,000 for that car. So it's not really a $50,000 car, it really costs you $67,000. And so cars are really expensive when you're financing. And the big number to look at right here is the interest. You're paying $10,000 of interest on a $50,000 car. Now you might think to yourself, hang on a minute, it says 7% interest rate on a $50,000 car. 7% of $50,000 is $3,500. How did the interest get to $10,000? Well, it's because it's 7% of interest per year. So as you gradually pay off the loan, you're paying 7% of the remaining balance. So you're paying thousands interest the first year, and you're paying a little less each consecutive year to pay off the loan. So it adds up in total to actually closer to around 20% interest rate for the life of the loan. So you increase the price of the car 20% by borrowing the money. Now, if you were a cash buyer, it'd have been more like $57,000 instead of $67,000 because you're skipping the interest by buying with cash instead of getting the monthly payments. So that's one reason why I always am a cash buyer. I don't borrow money because I know if I got to borrow the money, every time you pay it back, there's interest. You're always making things more expensive by putting them on the credit card. So if you save up the money first and buy it, then you're good to go. Now, with that said, do you still have to get a car for $50,000? Here for this calculator, I put $3,000 as the down payment. The reason why I did that is because my first car was $3,000. I drove that car for 10 years, put more than 70,000 miles on it, and then when I sold it for $2,000. And that right there is the other main concern with cars, is the depreciation of assets. Here, as we can see, in the first 4 years, you've lost half the value of the car. Now my first car was 14 years old, so I only had $1,000 of depreciation over the 10 years I owned it because it was already depreciated. So if you're buying a used car around 10, 20 years old, you can save vast sums of money. You can literally buy the entire car with just a down payment, and it barely goes down in value because it's already gone down in value. So if you're looking for just a basic car for going to work and back, less than $5,000 gets you really a very good, decent car. It's mechanically reliable. It may be older, it may have a lot of miles, but it still works fine. So if you're someone like me that just views a car as nothing more than an engine with 4 wheels, it's a basic necessity. It gets you to work and back home again, and that's it. I'm not trying to show off. I'm not trying to have fancy cars. It's just something, to get me around. It's a basic transportation is all it is. This reminds me of a story. I was talking to someone a few months ago, and she was saying, oh, well, no one here at work has any money. I know because I see the cars in the parking lot. No one's got a nice car. And I asked her, well, why would you say that? Because if you spend a lot of money on a car, you got less money for everything else. He goes, no, you have to have a nice car, otherwise you're poor. I'm thinking to myself, that right there is the mentality of someone who will be poor. If she thinks you have to have a nice car to be rich, she's never going to be rich because she's going to spend all her money on her car. But someone like me, I got the cheapest car I could find because I wanted to save money. And what did I do with all the money I wasn't spending on a car? Well, I spent it on this house right here behind me. Because I was able to save so much money on cars, I saved tens of thousands of dollars on cars. I spent that money on buying a house. So now I'm a homeowner. I own my house free and clear. I have no mortgage on this house. I live completely rent-free. Because I chose to save money on cars, I can now save money on housing. My expenses are very, very low, and I'm on track to retire in my 40s by working an ordinary middle-class job. And so, by getting an affordable car, you really can make life very, very affordable. And when you think about it, new cars really are a toy for the rich. If you're an ordinary middle-class American, you should always buy a used car. New cars are just too expensive. I mean, this is an entire year's wage just for a car. No wonder people live paycheck to paycheck. They're always trying to impress people with cars, and they don't really care that much. When's the last time someone walked up to you and said, hey man, nice car, I wish I was like you? That never happens. And so when you look at the price of cars, you have to think, okay, this is just one car. What if you get more than one car? Another example is a guy I know. A couple years ago, he was telling me that he got himself a Jeep. He spent $65,000 on it, brand new, which of course is probably the base price. He obviously didn't include all the other costs as well. And then, a few years later, didn't work out. He got himself a second brand new Jeep for $65,000. And again, had it for a couple years, didn't work out. He either had an accident or mechanical failure of some kind. He said, this time I'm smart with money. I'll get myself a used Jeep for only $34,000. So I figured, okay, the price of all three cars, plus all the interest and the other, costs, closing costs, sales tax, that man must have spent at least $200,000 on three cars. $200,000 will get you a house. In some places, it may even get you two houses. Like this house here, I only spent $100,000 on this house, and it's a 3-bedroom house. So for the money that man spent on three cars, I could have bought two houses with that kind of money. One for me, one to rent out. So you realize if you're overpaying on cars, it's going to keep you poor your entire life. It really is, a very quick way to live paycheck to paycheck. If you want to have a lot of payments, like here, $1,000 a month, just for a car, why not buy the whole car for $3,000 and skip the payments? Because I don't know about you, but I'd rather have money than have a nice car. And if you save lots of money now, maybe later on in life, when you hit that midlife crisis, maybe you buy a nicer car then because you have the money saved up and you could afford that kind of money to pay cash. And so that's the simple strategy to be successful in life: is don't buy things you don't need. Live affordable, save your money, and focus on retiring early. Focus on putting your money into investments. Focus on things that matter. This is especially true if you're someone that's planning on having children. If you're living paycheck to paycheck, you're only going to have 1 or 2 kids. If you're someone that drives a more affordable car, you save money, maybe you could have 3 or 4 children. Because if you're more responsible with your finances, you have more money for what's truly important in life. So if you have any questions, drop a below down in the comment section. Otherwise, have a great day, and I'll see you next time.